Patriotic Alliance member and alleged 2021 July Unrest instigator Nimmerhoudt has been found not guilty. Judge Ruby Matthys has ruled that the state has failed to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. Nimmerhoudt was charged with terrorism and inciting public violence during last year's July Unrest. Let's go to eNCA reporter Silindelo Masikane now to give us an update. She's outside, she's in Johannesburg rather. Slee, of course, you know, I think a lot of people probably expected, whether expected or didn't expect this particular case to go this way, but what exactly did the judge or the magistrate say convinced him that Nimmerhoudt is not guilty?
Well, of course, yesterday what Nimmerhoudt instructed his lawyer to do was to launch a Section 174 application to have these charges basically dropped against him, saying that the state had not proved its case. And that application can only be done once the state closes its case. And we know that this trial has been going on since July. And in fact, Nimmerhoudt has been out in bail for the past year, attending his court case. And following that application by Nimmerhoud's lawyer, the magistrate then requested that we return this morning for her to be able to deliver her judgment. And in fact, she seems to agree with Nimmerhoudt and his lawyer that the state just simply did not present evidence that, to quote her, she says it was of poor quality and that it wasn't about the quantity of evidence that the state had brought, but the problem was actually the quality. Let's take a listen.
The evidence gathered and presented by the state is of such a poor quality that no reasonable court acting carefully will convict on it. Whereas much more can be said on the state's case. In conclusion, I find that there is a lack of reliable evidence on the identity of the perpetrator of the offence, and there is reasonable doubt regarding the accused's guilt. The application for his discharge is then granted, and the following order is made. The accused is found not guilty.
Quite a lot of celebration there inside that courtroom, as we heard there, Slee, after that judgment. But let's talk about, you know, there was this voice note that you were updating us on that I think you said was circulated on social media, and that's what the state relied on squarely. What did she say about this particular voice note?
So, of course, this is the voice note that landed Nimmerhoudt in hot water, that landed him with this particular matter before him. And what the state was alleging in terms of their charges was that they were saying that Nimmerhoudt had created a WhatsApp voice note and circulated it, trying to incite public violence in the area of the West Rand. And what the judge was being quite critical of was the fact that the state did not even bring qualified experts to actually confirm without a shadow of a doubt that that was actually Nimmerhoud's voice. In fact, at some point, the witnesses that were brought, in particular the police officers, while they said the voices, because Nimmerhoudt had also submitted a voice sample for the court, even the police officers said, look, they're both deep, but they're similar, they're just not the same. So even those who were investigating the matter could not actually confirm with 100% surety that they had proven that Nimmerhoudt was actually the one who recorded that voice note. Let's take a listen to some more of Magistrate Matthys' judgment.
Now, I considered the contents of the different voice notes presented in evidence, and in my observation, the properties of differences between Exhibits 1, 2, and 3 includes that the accused's voice, as in Exhibits 2 and 3, is higher pitched as the voice in Exhibit 1. Although, generally, as testified by the state witnesses, both voices may be described as deep or coarse voices. There is further a marked difference, in my observation, in vocabulary choice considered Exhibit 2. There is a striking difference in pronunciation of particular words and phrases, intonation patterns, stress patterns, and speaking rate between Exhibit 1 and 3. I considered that a prosecution is not to be initiated without a minimum standard of evidence.
Well, Slee, did Nimmerhoudt or any of his supporters say anything after court around being found not guilty?
I mean, you would have seen in that first sound clip how there was lots of jubilation inside the courtroom. There were tears. In fact, it took Nimmerhoudt some time to actually get out of the dock. I think at some point he was praying. Just very, very emotional scenes. I think we can all only imagine what the past year has been. He was accused of terrorism. He was accused of inciting public violence. And he says that it's been quite tough on him and his family. It does seem as though he does plan on suing the state. And he says that this entire process was really targeted at him, but wouldn't give us details right now, but said that he would actually give us what he calls a dossier or an expose on exactly who was targeting him using this particular case. Let's take a listen.
Slee, as I said to you, I will provide you with a full expose. Right now, it would be premature for me to do so. I think the appropriate time will come at the ordained time for me to do a full expose. There are evidence that I'm in possession of that we did not present or submit before court. And when the appropriate time comes and does arrive, we will present that in the expose.
Do you want to sue?
Intentionally, definitely, yes.
Yeah.
All right, Silindelo Masikane live for us in Johannesburg with that case. Let's leave it there for now.